Welcome to episode 1 of the F Around and Feel Better podcast. Today, we're going to start off with what I believe is the first step towards feeling better, and that is seeking and striving for this underlying state that may seem elusive to some, and that's called peace. We're going to talk about what the hell peace even is, why you should strive for it, and how to find it regardless of what's going on in the outside world. This is where we'll put the intro. This is F Around and Feel Better. It's a different kind of wellness podcast. It's real, honest, and made by and created for the neurodivergent brain. My name is Corey Grandview, and I'm just a neurodivergent queer who's learned how to overcome my stress and anxiety, and now I live a better, easier, and more peaceful life. I started this podcast because I want to share with my community the same tools and education that helped me and hope that it'll help you all too. But knowing is not the same as doing, and doing is where the real transformation takes place. So, take a deep breath in, let it go. Let's F around and feel better together. Let's start off talking about what the hell peace even is. Because I know this state can seem like such a foreign concept to many. But let's start off talking about what peace is not. Peace is not numbness or avoidance. It's not silence, perfection, no problems at all, or constant, sometimes called toxic, positivity. It's definitely not conflict or being disturbed. But rather, peace is a felt sense of safety. It's a moment when your body and mind are free to just let go and be. Peace is a moment where you can just catch your breath and that you find a moment of stillness when everything is chaotic around you. It's this underlying state of tranquility that is here in every moment and in the moments of stillness. It's feeling harmony with who you truly are. I had read somewhere, this might be a quote, but it is not the absence of conflict, but rather the ability to cope with it. Peace is the ability and the skill to stay centered and to stay regulated, regardless of what's happening outside of you. Peace is the moment when you stop the doom spiral that you're in. Stop it, bring yourself back home, and know that you don't need to be caught up in this. You don't need to be caught up in this anxiety and these doom thought spiral loops that your brain wants to take you on. And peace doesn't mean that you don't care. You can still be deeply informed, deeply engaged, and deeply compassionate and still feel and be at peace. Sure, peace could look like stillness, meditation, but some people find it through movement, by being in nature, by moving their body. Peace looks different for everybody. If you've been living in survival mode for a very long time, or maybe your country is falling into fascism, peace might feel wrong, uncomfortable, foreign, or just straight up impossible. And that's okay. But that doesn't mean that it's not for you. That doesn't mean that you still can't achieve it. It doesn't mean that you don't deserve it and that you're not worthy of it. And when you allow yourself to finally seek that peace and it feels unsafe, that's okay. That's just because your nervous system isn't used to it. And just like any other skill, we gotta train our nervous system that it is okay. It is okay to feel this sense of peace, this tranquility, this harmony, and this bliss. A little cool metaphor to really drive it home is when the surface of the water is being disturbed by a boat or someone jumping in it, but deep down underneath, the water is still still. That is where the peace is. So no matter what's going on the surface, it still exists underneath. So when I refer to peace in this podcast from here on out, I'm not asking you to achieve some impossible standard or impossible state, but rather it's this underlying thing that exists in every moment that you are able to access by making a choice and by using tools to help you achieve this state. And I am inviting you to remember that there is this underlying state of bliss and tranquility underneath our disturbed surfaces. Accessing this peace is a skill, and it does take practice, and you must cultivate it in order to achieve it. It's also not the state that you would expect yourself to be in constantly, but rather it's a state to bring yourself back to when you notice that you're not in that state. So you can imagine it like this. Imagine that you're a kid again and you just got a helium-filled balloon. When you're holding that balloon, that's your centered state of peace. And then something happens, like the wind blows, and you accidentally let it go, and it blows off in the wind. Peace is whenever you're able to reach up, grab that string, and pull that balloon back to you and bring yourself centered, bring yourself back at peace again. In practice, what this looks like is probably having 100 balloons at once and 50 of them let go, and you gotta grab them and constantly pull them back into the center. And that's okay, because every single time that you grab one of those balloons or that moment of chaos and you bring it back in and dial it back into your center, you're training your mind and you're making those neural pathways stronger and stronger. And the more that you do that, the stronger those neural pathways become, the more that that state of peace is going to be a more frequent state. So it is worth practicing over and over again, because over time, it becomes more familiar, frequent, natural, and then you and your practice ultimately becomes your safety net. Because if you're able to access that state of peace when you're in the middle of an argument or something bad is going on, then that becomes your superpower. I'm all about keeping it real with y'all. I know I'm talking about this and how beautiful and wonderful peace is, but it's something that I work on every single day. You know, I'm constantly disturbed out of my peace. But I'm grateful to say that after some years of practice, I'm able to pause, become present and aware of how I'm feeling and how I'm being disturbed, and make the choice to access that peace. When I'm stressed out, when I'm feeling anxious, I remember, well, hold up. There's a stillness inside of me that I can access. Let me be here with that. Not only do you feel better practicing this, but once you access that state and you're not so disturbed, you're able to make another choice in the next moment that's a little bit more clear and thoughtful and less of a reaction, which can go a long way when it comes to human emotions and how it affects our decision making. So let's take that a step further. Peace is obviously feeling better. If you're not feeling peaceful, it should be the first step you go for, because you're not going to be able to access even better feelings, even higher feelings, such as joy, gratitude, abundance, happiness, for example. Because when you're stuck in survival mode, your body is just fighting to let you live and survive, let alone thrive. This is absolutely worth mentioning as well. Our society is literally designed so we don't feel that sense of peace. So if you're struggling, give yourself some credit. Our entire environment is designed for us to not be able to achieve this. It is designed to keep you dysregulated. It is designed to keep you in panic and anxiety, because it is hard to resist when you're stuck in survival mode. In a way, peace is a big ol' fuck you to capitalism. It's a big ol' fuck you to those who think that you can just be a cog in the machine. And it's a fuck you to those who believe that they can oppress you. Because you are a human being. You deserve rest. You deserve comfort. You deserve this peace. Let's transition to talking about what's going on with the mind and body when we're in a state of peace and when we're not in a state of peace. When you're stressed out, anxious, angry, and these sorts of emotions, you're in the sympathetic nervous system state, also known as fight, flight, fawn, or freeze. This is designed to keep you out of danger. This is our good old reptilian brain's way of getting ourselves into safety whenever there was danger around. For example, if you're being chased by a hyena or a tiger or even a hippo, that shit gets you out of the way because your heart starts racing fast. Your muscles get ready for the action. It can be hard to catch your breath, and your brain starts running 1,000,000 miles a minute. Everything feels unsafe and urgent, and you're in oh shit mode. Your body secretes a ton of cortisol, the stress hormone. So in short bursts, this is okay. In fact, it's good for you to get out of safety, of course. But when we're in this chronic state, that's where the issues come up. When our bodies are stuck in the sympathetic nervous system, we experience things such as anxiety, burnout, insomnia, or chronic health issues. However, peace is when we access the parasympathetic nervous system, also known as rest, digest, and recovery mode. Your heartbeat starts to slow down. You're able to take deep breaths again. Your muscles start to relax. You're able to think clearer and more calm. Your body feels safe and goes, I'm okay now. You feel grounded and connected. And of course, you're feeling better. Here's the cool thing about that. Yes, activation of the parasympathetic nervous system happens naturally. However, we can also encourage it to be activated when we're in the sympathetic nervous system state. And this is where the superpower lies. This is where you have the choice and where you are a powerful creator of your own reality because you are able to make the choice to take yourself out of that state, out of the chaotic state, into the more controlled, centered, relaxed state that the parasympathetic nervous system is. This podcast is full of ways to be able to access that parasympathetic nervous system. But before we dive into that, I do just want to nerd out a little bit more with you about what's going on with the body in these different states and when you're stressed out versus when you're at peace. There's this part of our brain, it's called the amygdala. It's the fear center. Then there's the other part of our brain, which is the rational human part of our brain, the prefrontal cortex. This really wild thing happens. When you're in a constant state of fear and stress, the amygdala actually grows, okay? And then the prefrontal cortex shrinks. The brain is literally changing its structure when you're chronically stuck in these states. So what does that mean? Well, if the part of your brain that feels fear is growing, that means you're going to feel more fear. And if the part of your brain that's logical and rational is shrinking, what does that mean for your decision making and where your life is going to project from here? But fear not, my friends, because the neat thing is when you practice peace, when you practice calming down your nervous system and bringing yourself to that centered state, as I stated earlier in the episode, you create these neural pathways that get stronger and stronger. Not only that, but you're also increasing the size of your prefrontal cortex. And then you're shrinking the amygdala. You're shrinking the fear center. So it goes without saying that practicing stress management is more than just feeling better in the moment, but it literally helps you in the future. And the more that you practice, the more your future is going to be more and more peaceful. What? We have the power to change our own brains? That shit's fucking neat. Gosh, we are so powerful. Fuck yeah. Now here's something I learned over the years. It is going to be much easier to take yourself out of fight or flight, that stress response, if you practice it when you're not currently in a crisis moment. Yes, that means even during your day-to-day life, even when everything is okay, I encourage you to practice seeking that stress relief. Because that way, when you are currently going through that stressful moment, you can pause and remember that you are powerful and think, oh yeah, okay, I know what to do in this moment. I have trained my body and mind to know how to return to peace. And so I'm going to access that state now. You can do this. I believe in you. It just takes practice. I'm not saying it's easy by any means, but I am encouraging you and I am inviting you to let in the possibility that you can do this. So let's talk about some of these ways that you can calm down that sympathetic nervous system and come into that more peaceful state. Go out in nature. Go out for a walk. Get your ass in the sun, or maybe even in the rain. Look at a damn tree, touch the grass, and practice using your senses. And really become present with what you're doing. Smell a flower and notice it. Be grateful for it. Put your hands in the dirt and feel what that feels like. Listen to the birds singing in the trees. Feel the warmth of the sun on your skin or the wind on your skin. All right, let's talk about some other methods. Connect with your body. Move, dance, stretch, do yoga, exercise. Move the energy in your body. Get it out. Let it flow. It's going to feel really good, I promise you. Put on your favorite song, whether that's EDM or metal or folk, and just fucking get down and move and just have fun doing it. You can do breath work, whether that looks like a 4-fold breath, breathe in for 4, hold for 4, out for 4, hold for 4, and so on. It could be the Wim Hof method. It could just be deep breathing, just being really intentional about breathing deep into the belly, holding it, breathing out nice and slow, counting. All this stuff sort of takes you out of your head and into the body, especially when you count. Give your brain something to do that's not just racing around and letting it go on its own. There's this wonderful practice called emotional freedom technique, or tapping, where you tap on various energy centers on the upper part of your body. It's the same energy centers that are used in acupuncture. I've gotten myself out of plenty of straight up panic attacks using this process. And one that I have found to be extremely profound. In fact, so profound that it literally altered the course of my life, besides all the other ones have too. But that's neither here nor there. And that is sound therapy, or some of you might know as sound healing. Because holy shit, sound is so powerful. I mean, think about it. Think about your favorite song and how that makes you feel. Think about when you listen to the rain. Gosh, listening to the rain on a tent or on your roof, that is so healing. Or when you're listening to the bird song out in nature, listening to a river flowing. When you're watching a movie, you can think about how much the sounds and the music really influences what the scene is portraying. I mean, Halloween wouldn't be the same if we didn't hear the dun 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 dun. You know what I mean? Take all of that and apply it in a very intentional relaxation way. Then you get this beautiful thing called sound therapy. And it altered my life. I mean, shit, I was extremely anxious one day. I sat my ass down in front of some crystal singing bowls, which are a classic and common sound therapy instrument. And that shit basically sucked the anxiety out of me instantly. And it was so cool and powerful for me that I became a sound therapist. That way I can help others feel the same way that I feel. And gotta say, I'm very grateful to be able to help many, many people out of their stress and anxiety through sound therapy. So if you're interested, there's a link in the show notes. Well, you're going to hear me talk a lot about it because I am a huge advocate for it. It turns out all the gurus, therapists, hippies, successful people were all right. Meditation is the shit. Straight up, meditation changed my life. I'm going to be geeking out about it on this podcast. A daily meditation routine is absolutely going to be your best fucking friend. I can tell you, just from my own experience, meditation is the most important thing I do every single day. And guys, I have ADHD. I thought for the longest time, okay, I'm going to go on a little bit of a tangent about meditation for a moment because I cannot reiterate how important this is enough. My meditation habit took me from being an extremely anxious person all the time, constantly living in fear. And I would constantly be playing these what ifs, these worst case scenario situations of just most off the wall stuff. And it was crazy that I was constantly living like this. And meditation has made me so calm and chill now. I am like a totally different person. It's actually kind of cool that people in my life have literally commented on how much more chill I seem. And of course, with the ADHD, I mean, I still flail my hands all around. I'm still a hyperactive person, but holy shit, did meditation calm my ADHD down too. And it's done so much more for me that I will have a full episode on all of the ways that meditation has changed my life. But having that daily routine is absolutely a way to really build that strong foundation and grow that muscle. And not even just grow that muscle, literally grow the cool, good part of your brain and shrink the little fearful part of your brain. I know meditation can seem very difficult and like this elusive thing, but don't you worry. I am not going to gatekeep, and I'm going to share with you guys the method that has helped me and my ADHD and my anxiety and the same method that I've taught to many other people who are also now benefiting from the practice of meditation. So these are just a few examples. However, this podcast is going to be full of all sorts of stuff that we're going to do and practice together. Hey everyone, this is Corey from the slightly more future than when this episode was originally filmed. Because the truth is, as I was speaking the words, talking about the various tools that you can use to help you relieve your anxiety, in the back of my head I was thinking, wouldn't it be cool if I had an easy way for my listeners to just find these tools and access them and know that they're going to work specifically for their stress and anxiety? Yeah, that would be really awesome. And also, I'm no stranger to teaching these tools. I have hosted plenty of workshops in the past, and I taught them some of these techniques. Lately, I've been having multiple people that attended those past workshops come to me and say that they still use the methods that I taught them. And so it was very obvious, why not bring this to you guys now? So in true ADHD fashion, I needed to create this toolkit for y'all to have because my brain wouldn't let me do anything else. Naturally, it's not like I have a podcast launch to prepare for or anything. So that being said, I created a 3-part audio series for you all, and I lovingly call it Peace in Your Pocket, the Anxiety Relief Toolkit. It comes with 3 follow-along audios. It comes with a round of emotional freedom technique or tapping. It's all geared towards releasing stress and anxiety. There is a round of breath work that can help you in a crisis situation or if you just need to release some pent-up emotions. Breath work is fun. I chose really awesome, fun, flowy music for it. And then, of course, there is a guided meditation that is infused with my own sound therapy instruments. The meditation is super beginner friendly, as it's guided step by step to help you relax all the muscles, gives you powerful mantras to repeat to yourself. That way your mind has an anchor. And the sound therapy goes a long way with helping you get deep into the experience. The meditation's great for relieving anxiety, but it's also really great to listen to every day. Because as mentioned in the episode, a daily practice goes a long way with relieving your daily anxiety levels. I recommend checking out all 3 of these tools. Find one that you like the most, or use all 3 of them. What else is cool is that if you do struggle with meditation, practicing breathwork or EFT beforehand is a super awesome way to activate your parasympathetic nervous system and then go into your meditation. I mean, I do that all the time. It's almost like a cheat code. I'll wake up in the morning, do a little bit of breathwork, dive right into my meditation. Oh man, that is some good shit right there. Full disclosure, I did want to get this toolkit out to you guys immediately for when I launched this first episode. That way you can immediately access a toolkit so you can start practicing finding peace. My zone of genius is in the creation of the content. However, if you're accessing them rather recently after this episode launches, then the actual website is just going to look a little bland. However, you can easily access it from your phone on your web browser. One day I dream of turning this into an app, and hell, maybe some of you are listening to this farther in the future and there's already an app and what I'm saying is highly irrelevant. But hey, we all got to start somewhere, right? So just bear with me, dive into it, and start finding those moments of peace in your life. Thanks, friends. Back to your previously recorded episode. And so I encourage you to take a little bit of time right now to practice along with me. If you're driving, that's okay. If you're able to sit and pause doing whatever you're doing, even better. If you're washing the dishes, going for a walk, whatever you're doing right now, you're able to access this peace. You don't need to be still, and that's kind of the point of what I was getting at, is peace is always here no matter what. So let's dive into this a little bit together. What we're going to do first is we're going to become present. And what does that mean? Being present means just focusing on what's going on in front of you in this moment. It's listening to my voice. It's watching the road. It is watching your hands wash the dishes. It's feeling the seat that you're on or your feet on the ground. Just become aware of that for just a moment. Awesome. Now, we're just going to do a little bit of breathing together, okay? Just become aware of the breath and focus on the sensations that you feel on the tip of your nose as the air comes in and out through the nostrils. If it helps to give your mind something to do, just think, I am breathing in and I am breathing out. As you exhale, start to relax your jaw. Start to relax all the muscles in your face. And relax them even more. And as you exhale, start to relax your shoulders. Now begin to just make your inhales and exhales a little bit longer. Send that breath into the belly. Relax the stomach. I am breathing in. I am breathing out. Continue to relax the muscles of the face and the shoulders and the belly even more. Now just take a few deep breaths at your own pace here. Relax even more on your exhale. One more. Good job. It's just a quick little practice. You can do this anytime. And I encourage you to do this as often as you remember. Just come back to the breath. Come back to those gentle sensations of the nose. Come back to breathing into the belly. Come back to melting the muscles of your face, the shoulders, and the belly. Heck, listen to this podcast again and practice again. Every time you practice, that is building the muscle. It's like going to the gym, but for your mind and your body to return to peace. So that's what we're doing. We're just working out like a bunch of bros at the gym. But more like a bunch of monks. Yeah, I like that better. We're like a bunch of monks just practicing coming back home to ourselves. Let's do that again. One more time. Big breath into the belly. And relax nice and slow. We're going to be doing a lot more of this practice together, and I'm so looking forward to it because this is that shit I like. I love doing this stuff with y'all. Thank you for tuning in to the first episode of F Around and Feel Better. I hope you got something out of this episode, whether you learned something or you just got a little bit of practicing some presence and peace with me. I would really, really appreciate it if you would leave me a review, share this with a friend. That way more people get this knowledge, more people get this practice and this peace, because we all need it. We all deserve it. So let's share this beautiful practice together. Thank you so much. I'm looking forward to seeing you in the next episode, my friend.